everybody, and a very warm welcome to our IATEFL TEASIG webinar in 2022. Welcome to our summer webinar in the Northern and Western Hemisphere. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Anna Soltiska. I'm a TEASIG webinar coordinator based in Germany. And today I'm joined by Sean Morgan, joining us from Cambridge, and of course, by our speaker, by Hui-Ju Tsai from Taipei, from Taiwan. But before we introduce our speaker, let us tell you a few things about the session today. So it will last approximately 1 hour, during which we ask you, or we welcome your interaction as well. You're welcome to use the chat box for interacting with our presenter and also with other participants. However, if you have any specific questions to our presenter, which you would like her to respond to at the end of the session, please write them in the Q&A box. This is the icon to the right, the second from the right at the bottom toolbar. Our speaker will address the questions, will address most of the questions. Let's see how many are there at the end of the talk. As you have noticed, this webinar is being recorded and it will be accessible for everyone via TEASIG website for the next 7 days following the session. We will write in the chat box the address of the website in a minute. After this time, this recording will only be available to TEASIG members in the IATEFL member area. So it's worth becoming an IATEFL or TEASIG member. All of the recordings are there. Certificates of participation will be issued to everyone attending, and they will be sent by email, via email by the IATEFL head office in the next few days. So just bear with us and check your mailbox for updates. I also need to inform you about the change. From the next online event onwards, the recordings will be available to TEASIG members only, and the certificates will be issued to IATEFL members only. This is a change in IATEFL policy. And yeah, you're lucky to be attending the last one under old conditions, but it's also maybe an incentive for you to join IATEFL to become a TEASIG member in future. So, Sean, over to you. If you could please introduce our speaker.
Okay, so Dr. Hui-Ju Tsai is the director and an assistant professor at the Language Center at National Taipei University, Taiwan. She received her doctorate in education concerning foreign language teaching, foreign language learning and motivation from the University of Durham in the UK. Today's talk is going to be focusing on the effectiveness of applying an augmented writing platform as an instructional tool in class. But I'm sure you're all very keen to hear what Dr. Tsai has to say. So I'm going to hand over to her immediately so we can hear her thoughts about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, dear researchers and teachers, thank you for joining this webinar. Before I get started, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to TEASIG, who helped organize this webinar and has contacted me several times before this activity. Hopefully, through the talk today, you can find some new ideas and even the fresh energy to sustain the effort to support your testing in class. Well, my talk today is New Frontier in Online Writing Assessment, which is going to cover my recent research interest and finding on the assessment of online writing, focusing on the use of augmented writing platform and automated writing evaluation. Well, let me first introduce myself. I know Sean earlier just introduced me, but here I want to introduce more to let you know more about my background and research context. I'm Hui-Ju Tsai, and you can call me Phoebe. Currently, I am an assistant professor and currently the director of the Language Center at National Taipei University. I'm saying hi from Taipei here. I've worked in the Language Center for over 15 years. I've executed an online writing assessment project for the Minister of Education in Taiwan, and I also supervised many joint course evaluation of ESP and EAP course across my university. I've been teaching both postgraduate and undergrad students on ESP and EAP courses. I've always been interested in testing and assessment and how different assessment can raise the quality of instruction and students' ability in language classroom. Currently, I'm also the Executive Secretary of Bilingual Education Office at my school. I manage EMI Teacher Training Program and EMI TA Training Program. A lot of you probably heard of Taiwan, right? I'll quickly show you where you can find this on the map. And here we are. The size of Taiwan is less than 14,000 square miles, but the population is over 23 million people. Well, let me give you more about the background here. English is always the compulsory subject within the school system in Taiwan. Students have to study English for over 10 years among the 12 years compulsory education from grade 3, that is at the age of 9 and up. And the hour of English taught in school increased every year. Now, under the nation blueprint of the bilingual country by 2030, if you're from Taiwan, you probably know about this. The government extends the English learning from K-12 all the way to undergrad and civil service. So one of the major focus of this policy will be students' ability to communicate. The ultimate purpose of this plan and of this project is to make sure that people can use English in daily work and in daily base. So being able to express themselves fluently in speaking and writing is very crucial. And in line with the current trend, we can see the demand of writing courses in colleges now. So I want to focus on the writing difficulty of teachers and students, and of course, try to find a better solution in EFL writing classes. Here is the outline of my talk today. First, I will introduce about the topic area, and it will follow by the review of the relevant study on the online writing assessment. Further, I would explore one of my research findings, and I will leave some time for questions, but please leave your question at the chat. I'm happy to answer all of your questions at the end. Well, here with the background, most of the Taiwanese students, they do not feel confident in their English writing at the university level, and they perform relatively poorly, and that highlight an insufficiency in English ability among all the college students. So without a skill to do well in English writing, students are limited to do what they can achieve. Well, however, with more and more universities focused on the English writing, more students are taking the writing related courses like academic writing, business writing, and in my college, we do have a lot of writing classes like in different kind. We have intermediate writing and advanced writing for the student. But the number of faculty who teach writing courses has still remained the same. And that leads to the situation where English writing classes are getting larger, with individual faculty being responsible for more and more students. That causes teaching burden. And these are the common problem that we face in writing classroom. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the demand of the English writing classes are high in college, not just my college, but I guess there'll be a lot of colleges in Taiwan. But what brings my attention on this topic is teachers' response to the need of more writing classes. As the director and also the teacher at the Language Center, I help find more teachers to teach writing classes. But the common response I get from teachers are, I would like to, but, or there's like very polite, or I'm happy to help. But there's always but here. Well, let me ask you two questions here, okay? Well, the first question, have you taught writing? And do you enjoy teaching writing? Why or why not? I'll give you a minute here. Can you please leave your answer in chat box about have you taught writing, about these two questions? Okay. So here we are. Great. I've already received a lot of response from you. You love teaching writing, enjoy teaching it. It's good to teach, but it is difficult to correct. That's true. It is so fun. Right, right. Well, that's true. Well, my personal experience, I like teaching writing, and I enjoy the whole process of it. Giving student feedback, how they work on their learning is one of the best things. But I noticed the challenge for this year's. First, it's really hard to motivate students in the writing class. We have to admit this. And students' level, they are different, very different. And also time are the reason that teachers struggle with teaching writing. And all of this consideration lead to my research motivation. What can better prepare teacher in the writing class? And can technology help? Well, recently, there's a large portion of testing and assessment transferred to online format of EFL classroom, and we can observe the trend of implementing technology, online writing tool, such as augmented writing platform and automated writing evaluation in writing classroom. It plays an important part in support teachers' feedback and time and reinforce the learning process. It can also further reduce teacher stress when assessing students' work. So my talk today will focus on the effectiveness of applying this technology as the instructional and also the assessing tool in class. So the three main issues of my talk are, first, what is augmented writing technology and automated writing evaluation? How to implement augmented writing technology in EFL classroom, and how effective is this writing technology in EFL writing assessment? So to respond to the issue first, let's think about the following question. Okay, so first, do you agree the teacher only provide a later grade in writing assessment? Can you leave your answer in the chat box? Do you agree that teacher only provide a later grade, like A, B, or B+ in writing assessment? No, a lot of people come up like no, right? And my second question goes to, who can give the score to a test? Who can give the score? Teachers only? Or peers, teachers and peers? Anyone? Great. I'll agree. It depends. Yes, some people come up, peers, teachers, outside readers. Yes. And also, that's a lot of response here. I think a lot of you have the idea. And the third question, can you think about what features do you usually assess for your learners? What feature do you usually assess, especially for the EFL learner? Is that the language accuracy? Is that the cohesion? Is that the range of the language? Is that the grammar? Or is that the text fulfillment, whether they can answer the question? So what feature do you usually assess your learners? The content, all of them, cohesion, language, yes. So the last question, since you agree that we should cover about all this feature, but what marking skill do you use to assess your students' writing? Analytic marking skill or holistic marking skill? Well, let me shortly explain about analytic marking skill and holistic marking skill. A lot of you probably know about this. You can start to adjust for this issue. What do you believe? What marking skill do you use to assess your students' writing? But when we talk about holistic marking skill is a type of scoring that involves assigning of a single score to the whole piece of writing based on the overall impression of the text. And the main focus of the scoring in writing is how the message or the idea being conveyed in the writing. It does not give any attention to individual parts such as grammatical accuracy or spelling or use of the tense. only the message. This is holistic one. But analytic marking skill, that are different. There are rubrics that include explicit performance for each rating. It involves the scoring of individual parts that make up the text. So the attention is about the features, the element that form the text, such as grammatical accuracy, the use of tense, spelling, text organization, coherence, cohesion, paraphrasing. So what marking skill do you use to assess your own student? I'm going to have a look about your response. Both of them, it depends on the objective. Okay, analytic, holistic. Well, here, a lot of you come up with the different idea. So my talk, I'm going to help you to think about all this issue and to understand more about difficulty in assessing writing. Teachers should figure out what is in writing and what do we want to assess. Writing is about producing the message. How can we want to, just like, what do we want to express? And in order to express the idea, we need to think about what we want to say, and that's the cognitive aspect. Then it requires us to use words to express our idea, and that is the linguistic aspect. Depending on who we are writing to, or even just like for what reason, the writer needs to decide what to adjust for the audience. And that is what we call about the social linguistic writing. And this aspect interact with one another. And in writing, we need to consider this aspect, what we are going to say, how we are going to write, and how to make the message more effective. So as teacher, we probably know how to construct a writing test that can produce all of this aspect. And what do we assess in the writing task? And how do you assess in your learner's writing? Is that a checklist? Is that a few scores? Is that a score? Or detailed comment and feedback? Or whether that will be the peer review? And further, for you, what are the difficulties in assessing EFL learners' writing? What are the difficulties in assessing your learners' writing? So you can leave what you think in the chat box. We can come back for this. So that leads to my research interest. What is a better solution for teacher in EFL writing class? And can augmented writing platform and automated writing evaluation help? First, I will introduce what is augmented writing platform and what is automated writing evaluation. Augmented writing tool refer to the technology that help produce the article. And augmented writing tool use collection of data to analyze the word that you use in your sentences and give suggestion for more diversity and inclusion. And the common types of the augmented writing tools are text analyzer, text editor, and automated writing evaluation. Text analyzer. When we talk about the text analyzer, the common ones that we can see in the market now are used for the job description to identify the bios. You can have a look about the graph here, and that provides the language guidance. And also for the text editor, it helps improve the writing. This kind of tool automatically check your writing for spelling, for grammar, for punctuation, all kind of error in real time. And there are many of them in the market now. And as for the automated writing evaluation, AWE is the computer generating scoring and feedback that is used to evaluate and provide feedback on writing. AWE now do well at identifying certain type of error, but only identify a fraction of errors in a document. It's been increasingly used as the instructional tool in writing classroom. The common platform that we can see in the market now are quite a lot. Let me show you some of them. These are the common tools that a lot of you probably have already heard of or used in your own class. In my class, in my university, I have used Grammarly, Criterion, Ginger is the free version, right? And also, just like stuff from last semester, I also introduced some popular AI writing tool. All of this tool, the function focus on the text clarity, development, grammar accuracy, language accuracy, analysis, and evaluation. Well, here, let me show you how they work, and especially the function by using Grammarly as one example. You can try it later if you haven't used Grammarly or haven't heard of any of this app before. Well, they offer the free version for all users, and in this app, in this tool, user provide the article. And what you need to do, just provide this article and process, then you can get the feedback in the minutes. Well, I will demonstrate how I use the tool in my class. With the writing process and the skill focusing class, I'll first ask students to think about the topic, get the idea, and make sure they fully understand the task. And then I will let them to have the peer work to discuss about the topic. And then they can start about the first draft by using the Google document. By doing so, I will show you about this. By doing so, I can quickly give them the feedback. In class, they can actually discuss together. And of course, you can encourage the teamwork from here. Then they will go back and continue to write. After this, I'll give them the feedback for their first draft. They can refine it and they will revise for the first draft. I'll collect the paper back, but for this time, for the second one, I will let students to do the peer review by using the AWE. The partner can use the app, they can use the tool to check about the partner's writing and give them the feedback. And more importantly, they can help them to check about the comment provided by the AWE by the tool. So after they receive the feedback from their partner, student can revise for the second time. So here we are. So refer to the writing stage. The AWE in my class I use at the post-writing stage from here. Well, let me show you about the example of my own class. So here we are. First, this is the first draft from the student in class. I will have them to write on the Google document. So in the class, we can quickly get the idea together. I can soon give them the feedback. And also what you can do, just like they can go back home and finish about the first draft, and you can easily just like leave the comment on that. And for the next week, you can invite the partner to do the peer review. And from this time, you can involve and invite students to use the AWE. For this time, students can have a look about their partner's writing by using this app, by checking all the mistakes identified from the tool to see, to agree, or to find out the problem. And this kind of software can normally determine about the writing quality very quick based on the error in grammar and usage in style and discourse structure, vocabulary, and sentence variety. Other than the error comments, there are several different types of the app. They also offer the additional tool like planning, like feedback tool, and in some cases, feedback option that allow peer and teacher feedback. So this is what we talk about. And augmented writing tool like the automated writing evaluation may prove to be very useful. And it has the potential to lessen the burden of the writing faculty in terms of giving the feedback on papers and draft, thus allowing faculty to focus on the teaching and students' interaction. So is it a possible solution in the writing class? And can teacher use it as the assessment tool or the instructional tool? So here, AWE has been developed since the 1960s in the US to help score students' essay. It produced computer-generated scoring and feedback for uploaded document, while it is originally developed to generate summative score for assessment. It is currently used in the high-stake tests now, such as TOEFL and GMAT. It works by using algorithm to extract features from essay. For example, a count of grammatical errors, the word length, or the number of words in a discourse element. And then they use the linear regression to weight all of this feature to predict a criterion. And different module will create to mimic human score on the same essay. And the quality of the machine score was assessed by how closely it matched human score. So here, in other words, agreement with human score on the same essay has been primary validity criterion for the AWE. Well, over time, you can see that all of this tool has become more complex, being able to extract even more features and incorporating readability link text. And followed up, numerous research studies on AWE that focus on this effectiveness of implementing the tool in writing class, suggesting about the positive outcome in students' motivation and performance. And a lot of studies focus on the impact of the AWE corrective feedback in writing classes suggest that students revise more time while using all this tool in their writing, and that help improve their overall writing accuracy level and also increase their confidence in writing and willingness to learn. And the research on the AWE accuracy typically focus on the methodological concern of the AWE developer, while addressing only a few linguistic micro features, such as the article or preposition error. So in this kind of study, focus was placed the evaluation of the quality of the error detection method. And this type of study represent about system central that focus on the system performance rather than the user central viewpoint, like focus on the user's interaction with the system's viewpoint. So here, all of these tools in their current state are not flawless. One issue is accuracy. Accuracy is important, since inaccurate feedback will confuse users, especially those who want to facilitate English language learning with the use of the system. Recent research has examined the negative influence on the learning outcome of implementing all of this tool. This suggesting low level of error was still common in students' writing. Some researchers suggest it was important to have teachers' guidance and face-to-face level to complement about the tool. So my research purpose lies here. My study plans to examine the effectiveness in assessing students' learning, and also to investigate the role of AWT and AWE in writing classes. So my research questions are: how effective is augmented writing technology in assessing writing in EFL classes? Second, can the application of the tool reinforce students' writing? If so, in what way does it help students enhance their learning in an EFL setting? And how can AWP and AWE be integrated in the writing instruction? So in this study, student questionnaire will be collected to investigate their opinion regarding to the effectiveness of using this tool at different writing stage. This research would examine about their attitude toward the use of the tool as the assessment and writing enforcement tool. A mixed method will be conducted. The interview will be conducted at the end of the semester to examine about their idea. For the survey I collected at the very beginning of the research, we can learn about learners' difficulty at different stages. Well, for example, students have more obstacle to get idea or to write the topic sentence at the pre-writing stage. You can see students have problem in word choice, supporting idea, or sentence structure, grammar, translanguage challenges in the writing stage. And as for the post-writing stage, they have problem in editing and preciseness. And also one of it is they are unable to locate the mistake. But here, I'll highlight some of the features in this table for you. Well, These are the features that can be identified by the automated writing technology, which highlighted in red. By using the tool, students are able to identify this problem on their own, especially for the writing stage and the post-writing stage. Well, further, I'll quickly go through some part in the survey. The result of my study showed that when asked about students' ability to brainstorm or get the idea before writing, most of the students possess neutral attitude, but when they would ask about their ability to write outline or organize the idea or gather the relevant supporting evidence, most of them possess positive attitude. So in the writing stage, most of the students, they possess about the positive attitude toward their ability to identify the problem or to edit their writing or to spell the word correctly. And further, most of the students, they would ask their teacher to explain the comment if they didn't understand about the comment, and they would just keep track or try to record it, the type of error they had made, so they did not keep making the same type of errors. This is the part that I find very interesting. When I actually check the writing from my student, I often find that the same type of error. So I guess they just want to make me happy here. I continue. And in the post-writing stage, most of the participants possess about the positive attitude toward the overall quality of writing with the use of augmented writing tool, and also the use of tool in evaluating the writing. So refer to my research question 1. How effective is augmented writing technology in assessing writing in IATEFL classes? From the interview data, most of the participants, they possess positive attitude toward the use of AWT tool as one of the assessing tools in their own writing. And for the second research question, can the application of the AWT in writing class reinforce about students' learning? The survey result in the main study suggested that all student participants agree that the tool helped the writing with different degree. It enables students to save time in minor grammar error and spell check, thus fasten the writing test conducted in class. And most of the students believe that with the use of the tool in writing stage, it can help identify the problem and correct it right away. It can also save their time to find error and help fix grammar error they had. So continue with the question, in what way does it help students to overcome their writing difficulty as well as enhance their learning in EFL setting? Consequently, the results suggested they are for different type of aspect. Students' willingness, language aspect, content aspect, and guidance for the self-editing. Students' willingness to write increase. They tend to revise more and willing to proofread before they submit their work. And with the ads they receive from the tool, they have less spelling and grammar error. And this leads to an improved content and better coherence and unity of their writing. They have more confidence in their writing, and we can see about the improvement through the given suggestion. In general, the reading work improved and their writing skill improved in the semester class. As for the third research question, how can the tool be integrated in English academic instruction? Well, majority of the subject agree that this is helpful during the writing process. Students agree that by using all of this tool, that can help improve the quality of their writing and can serve as the reinforced tool in post-writing stage. In the finding, we can find out how all of this tool can be integrated in the EFL writing class. Most of the students agree that by using of this tool that make helpful suggestions for improving their work and agree with the idea of using the tool as the way to facilitate their revising process. The finding of this research presents several implications for EFL writing class here in Taiwan. The majority of the subject agree with the idea of using AWT at the post-writing stage. And the students agree by using the tool can be useful to motivate them to write more and to improve the content of their writing, which help improve the quality of their own writing. Also, as the findings suggested, students at different language proficiency level require differently for the use of the tool in their writing process. It is further suggested that all of these tools could use to reinforce about their peer review discussion, as the tool often fail to provide suggestion or explicit explanation. And these, when we talk about all of this explanation and suggestion, sometimes could be provided by the peer during the discussion. Well, in conclusion, the research finding in this study suggested that integrated the tool in writing class as the assessment tool or as the instructional tool were able to help teacher and learner in an EFL writing setting. The tool can be used for student as a learning tool and for teacher as a supporting tool. Teachers are able to ease workload for the time saved from the use of the tool in class. And students prefer to use the tool to reinforce their peer and also the self-editing in producing the written work, and tend to have higher motivation and confidence when they write. So to echo back my question earlier, what is a better solution for teacher in EFL writing class? Can technology help? With the limitation in its use now, automated writing evaluation and augmented writing platform is not the only solution to hold teachers from their heavy workload or to solve all the problems that learners have in their writing, but it certainly can solve some problem in EFL writing classroom. As a language teacher, we want to use the assessment as a support or as a tool in teaching and in learning. A well-constructed assessment allows teachers to know students' understanding, and students can reflect their own learning progress. Also, students can use all of this tool in the self-assessment or peer review. Together with the teacher's feedback, they can reflect on their own learning, reinforce their understanding, and work toward their learning goal. And for me, I believe a good use of this tool is certainly beneficial for both language teachers and students. Well, thank you for your participation. Now, I would like to welcome the questions. Okay.
There are several questions in the Q&A box. Thank you very much, first of all, for giving us great insight into not only the tools that are out there, but also in what they are capable of, and how students perceive this new addition to our teaching or teaching of writing. Several questions, as I said. Do you want to pick them?
Yes, I think I just follow the order from the first one, okay? Probably the first one from Lindsay, it asks about how are students level into the different classes? Okay, in my school, in my university, all these writing classes, this is not compulsory, so students can actually pick up the course they would like. So they can pick up academic writing, they can pick up business writing, they can pick up intermediate writing. So it based on students' interest first. So this is the first one to Lansing. And okay, I hope this one is okay. And is that Andrew? Okay, we'll have a look about the question here. Can technology assess a piece of text holistically? And more specifically, is the technology sophisticated enough to come with the pragmatic meaning intention of the writer, or can it become so if not? That's a very good question. Well, here, if you, I have no idea whether you try the technology testing or just like all of this online testing here. I understand about like how difficult it is, like it only provide with like a score, especially like holistic scoring. But for the Grammarly, the one that I'm using here, it only provide a score. It based on like different aspect, but it only provide a score. So as a teacher, the most important thing is like how you use about the score and what you are going to assess your students. So again and again, would you take this as part of the consideration that you would like to assess to your students? Well, so for me and for my class, I will only take it as the reference of student to have a look about like first why you have this, why you have the score. And also just like, can you have a look about all this suggestion and all this feedback that provided by the generated, by computer generated scoring. So analyze all of this problem and really to think about like, what can make your second writing or writing better. So this is how I apply all this technology in class. But I would agree that so far the technology is not sophisticated enough to cope with all of this intention. So this is what I believe here. Okay, and I hope that I answered the Andrew's question. And I have another question right here for, as a teacher, would I be able to get a report of my student progress in writing when they use this platform? Let me think about that. No, but what I will do, normally I would ask students to send me the copy, because once they process about, once they upload about the writing to the system, they will directly get the report. So a part of the homework from me will be they have to send me and upload that report. So this is how I can keep track about their progress, or otherwise you don't know what mistake they made and what problem they have from their original draft. So normally in my class, I would ask students to give me the report that they receive from the system. So this is the question from Esma. And for from Wilson. Okay, so what parameters should it be taken into account while evaluating different platform for AWE? So can you give me more about what you want to say here? I'm not quite sure what I understand about the question here. So do you want to ask about like how I decided about which platform that I use or which platform I implemented for my students? Okay, so if that is what you say here, normally here in the market, the one that we're using here quite common will be Grammarly, for the reason that it provides the free version. So you don't need to spend a lot of money. You don't need to get the funding from the government. Earlier, I remember just like a few years ago, I received the government's funding. So then I can purchase some account for my students, so each student have the account. But once we don't have the funding, I'll just like switch back to the free version. So that's the one I take into account, take into the consideration. Funding is about one, and about of course, like the length of the writing is really important, because earlier what I talk about and what I introduced about the different platform for the AWE, some only suitable for a very short paragraph, but some is quite suitable for a long essay. So it really depends on the length of the writing. Okay. But I hope I answered the question. But if I did not answer the question, please let me know about that. I'd like to answer this. Okay, so that's quite a lot of question here. Okay, so well, another question also from Andrew: are AWE and high-stakes language exam reliable and valid, such as in internal university language exam, student must pass to graduate? I won't suggest it. Totally won't suggest it. Andrew, you can give it a try for the family. Then you can find out that if you only come up with the abstract, very short paragraph, then you will realize the score will be a lot better than the long essay, because first it's pretty short, right? It's quite precise. So you can have a look about like, what is the intention here? So I won't suggest it to use as the university language exam. I think your student will hate it. So I won't suggest that. But in the writing class, I will suggest that you can use it as the formative and summative assessment in the class that works pretty well. So you can take actually for the assessment for learning and assessment as learning, because you can actually, this is part of the learning process. Okay, and I have the question from Laura. How easy it is for teacher new to AWT to understand how to use the software? Oh, it's very easy. It only takes you about like a few minutes to understand about the function, how to use it. So it's very easy to use that. Later, you can give it a try for the app. Do you want to have a look about the platform that I introduced? Let me go back to the slide where I provided. In my university, I also have the workshop for teachers and students. Teachers love it. I also have the workshop for teachers and students. It only takes about like 20 to 25 minutes to get their understanding about how it works, what is about the score, and also what different. I also talk about like the different function for different platform and different software. So it won't take you too long because it's pretty much the same. The only difference is later you can give it a try. Just I talk about like the length of the paragraph, the length of your writing, like the ginger and rifle. I won't suggest it. If you have the long writing, I won't suggest for this two software. And Grammarly would be the one that you can try. For writing ads, that is a good one, but again, it doesn't have the free version. So you have to, I think all of them you will have to pay for the paid version. So later you can give it a try with the Grammarly. Readable will be the one that you can try. Ginger and Rifle will be the free one. So that is what we talk about. Oh, one thing quite interesting. Earlier I just mentioned about like last semester I started to introduce about the AI writer, because some of my students, they have difficulty not just in the writing and the post-writing essay. They also have the problem, the main problem they have will be like the pre-writing essay. They don't know how to start. So last semester I started to talk about the AI writer, so they can just like key some keywords and then put out with the whole writing here. And that one you can use about the Jasper, so you can give it a try with the Jasper and another software called AI Writer. I'll put it right here. You can try this software. It offered about like 7 days free trial, so you can give it a try. Okay, so it's not too difficult. But if you need some help, I'm willing to share how to use all of this software. Okay, well, I have the question it asks. If students learn the lesson with automatic correction, do they keep repeat doing the very same error over and over? Do they really reflect on that? That's a good question. Earlier, I just mentioned one of this, like from my essay, because my students think that they check all the error that they make, and if they don't understand about the comment, they will ask the teacher. But when I go back to writing, sometimes I found that they make the mistake again, but very minor one, like the article will be the issue. I think it's the cultural issue here for all the Taiwanese students. We sometimes miss and skip about the article. So it's part of the cultural, part of the habit here, but that's not too serious. But again, if they can revise, they actually just learn from all this correction. You can see it about the change. You can see it about they actually make less error in their writing. They will be more careful. So this is what I found in from my students. Okay. Okay, and another question. How do we assess the software free version, and how easy is it to use it? Are there any instruction to follow? Yes, there are. There are quite a lot of instruction that you can follow. And if you want, I can show you about how to use it. It won't take you too long. Probably it only take you about like few minutes to get to know how to use it, how to find out the problem. So you can have a look about this. You can try for all this software. It won't take you too long, not too difficult. I think it's a similar question. Does he deal with the missing of meaning of sentence?
Just choose, sorry to interrupt you, just choose the one that you like most. I'm afraid you won't be able to answer all of the questions that they keep coming.
All right,
to go by the order.
My job today is like to answer all of this question.
No, no, that's not what we can expect of you, but thank you very much for being so flexible and responding spontaneously to so many valid and interesting questions.
I probably cannot answer all of these questions, but I'll leave my contact information here. Oh, I forgot my email. I'll leave my contact information here. So if you don't think I answer your question, or if I don't have time to answer your question, feel free to email me. I'll be happy to, first, I'll happy to share how to use of this app and what I think about all of this software. It won't take us too long. And second, I'd love to share some of the findings that I found recently. So of course, feel free to email me. Right.
Can you just copy the email address that you've just written so that it's sent to everyone, because you only send it to hosts and panelists? It means it goes to me and to Sean only, and not to everyone.
You already have my email, right?
Excellent. So everyone, do not flood our speaker with too many emails, but on the other hand, pick her brains. She seems to be a great expert. And once again, Phoebe, thank you very, very much for agreeing to hold this webinar today. I can say that with 148 attendees at the time, I think it was definitely the all-time high for the summer period, if not for this year. So thank you very much for being such a magnet for our audience today. And I would say, if you liked the presentation, if you liked the topic, if you liked the speaker, she is not a new person in TEASIG community. She has already featured as a member in Spotlight of our TEA today, and she has contributed to our newsletter as well. So any member of TEASIG can access this information also via IATEFL My Resource area. As I said, if you like the talk, let us know. Thank you for all of the comments in the chat box. Maybe you can also spread the word about TEASIG and what we do via social media. Just leave a thumb up, leave the like on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and so on. There are two important pieces of information that I would like to share with you concerning TEASIG, of course. First of all, this is the deadline for IATEFL scholarship applications. It's tomorrow, the 23rd of June. And so you need to be quick if you want to apply, but it's really worth applying. It's a great opportunity for those of you who want to attend the 2023 IATEFL annual conference in Harrogate, and who want to present, who want to contribute with a presentation or a poster. So be quick, and I've copied the link to all of the scholarships and that you can apply for in the chat box. We as TEASIG, we especially welcome applications for the TEASIG sponsored scholarship, which would also mean that the person who is chosen gets a scholarship, gets a membership in TEASIG, and is invited to present as part of the TEASIG showcase. The second very important piece of information, and a bit of advertising for TEASIG as well. You may wish to join us again after the holiday pause. This will be the summer break in the Northern Hemisphere. Our next online event is in September, to be precise, on Saturday, the 10th of September, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. UK time. The main topic, the working title, is Feedback Unbound. So we are going to talk about feedback in language assessment. And this online seminar will explore the value and challenges of feedback from different perspectives. Our presenters will share insights and experiences from the field, which will provide a platform for discussion with you, with our participants. Some further details of our 4 online events, which is free for everyone to attend, will very soon be available on our website. So watch this space and join us in September. Before joining us in September, check online what we have to offer and join us for an hour, 2 or 4. On behalf of TEASIG, of myself, of Sean and of Phoebe, let me wish you a pleasant day, pleasant evening, good night. I've seen some of the participants joining us from very far away. Thank you for being with us. And of course, we hope to see you again very soon. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.